They did the same thing, kind of like you guys did, kind of like just pull the blocks and like hopped into an RV real quick.
We're not the only crazy ones.
Yeah. I was like, y'all are crazy. I can't imagine just doing it. I'm happy for you. Welcome to another episode of the RV Voice. Today we have a awesome guest. They are Heart and Saul. Heart and Saul, not Heart and Soul. They are traveling. They've been traveling for 3 years now. A 2016 Heartland Cyclone, which, if you don't know, is a very large fifth wheel. It's actually not a fifth wheel; it's a toy hauler, and they're a beast to pull. And today I'm actually running the show, so bear with me if it looks a little goofy, but we're going to do all right. So welcome, Heart and Saul.
Hey.
We got David and Kirsten in today, and I'm going to take you guys and drag you over the top. There you go. Look at it. Look at me go. Look at me go. Anyway, guys, well, I'm going to let you introduce yourselves a little bit, talk about your background, and then we'll kind of get into the questions. So, David and Kirsten, show's yours right now.
All right. We have been on the road for the past 3 years. We are originally from Asheville, North Carolina, and we travel with our 2 kids and our 2 dogs. And we work remote and we homeschool. Anything else? We've been to 43 states, I believe.
Yeah, I believe 40.
That's awesome.
And we have no plans to stop full-timing anytime soon.
No.
Good. There's a lot of people that don't even make it out of their hometown. And, that's
right.
To me, I was, as you get older, you start small, right? You're like, this is my yard. This is where I grew up. This is what I do. And then like you go to school and then you meet these people. And then I got these 2 towns. Then you got the whole county when you turn 16, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And, for me, that never stopped. I've been a lot of countries. I've been like 13, 14 countries right now, but a lot of people don't get that. And, seeing the U.S. alone, I have not seen all the states, which I'm a little upset. I've seen most of the western states, but the eastern side, it's cool that you guys are doing so, and you guys are actually able to do so. Not everybody is, but that's why we're going to tell them how to do so. So let's hop into your personal journey, how you even started and what inspired you to get into full-time RVing. And then can you share your story and how you first started with RVing?
Yeah, totally.
So Kirsten we'll go back to 2020. We'll go back to COVID times. And I had been sent home from work. I was a civil engineer doing like remote civil work. And then they wanted me to come back into the office. And I was like, not sure. Can we negotiate it? And we ended up working it out that I did contract work. And as soon as that happened, Kirsten was like, well, we should sell the house.
I was like, we need to live tiny. We need to live tiny. And he was like, no, we don't. What? I don't know if I can do that. And I was like, I have gone down the YouTube rabbit hole. People live in RVs. He was like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're going to Camping World. So I took him to Camping World. We toured a couple RVs, and then we were like, we want to do this.
Keep in mind, Kirsten had never been in an RV.
I had never been in an RV ever in my life.
Never camped before in her life. She did not know what she was getting into. But then she stepped into an RV at Camping World, and she's like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah,
I can definitely do this.
So then David was like, I'm still not sure. And so I called the realtor, and she just showed up one day, and I was like, oh yeah, we're putting the house up for sale.
I'm like, okay. So, and then it was kind of just a quick whirlwind from there. We didn't even have a rig at the time. We didn't have a truck. We didn't have anything.
But David, being a numbers guy, because he is an engineer, he just had to kind of see it in front of him, selling the house, buying the RV. And then after I kind of got all that together, you were totally on board.
Yeah.
Well, good. So, yeah. I'm glad you are, because I love you guys' content. I mean, you kind of make your house super cozy. You're you guys in the living room, but I love it. You scan through. It's like one of those AI images that you see on Instagram, right? And then it scans through, and there'll be Emperor's New Groove on, or Jerry. Yeah. I'm like, these are my people.
Yeah, we're Disney people as well, so we got to throw that in there every once in a while.
Big fan, right? I was Emperor's New Groove goes way back for me.
Such a classic.
Yeah. Hold the left. I don't think you're not a big fat guy, or this is really difficult. Goodness.
So I would say that it definitely came from me just always wanting to live tiny. And then the opportunity just came because of COVID and working from home. So we were like, let's just do this. Yeah. And then we kind of also agreed that if it wasn't something we liked, we would do it for a year, because I feel like I can do anything for a year. So I was like, we'll do it for a year. And if we don't like it, then we'll just go back to a house. But 3 years later, I've convinced him.
I'm not sure where ever stopped.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I mean, it seems like you guys are having a really good time. I mean, your reels look very raw, very realistic. And you guys are sitting back on the patio drinking coffee or whatever it may be, and you guys just look like you're enjoying life. So, not everyone can say that,
That's true. That's true.
You broke your 9 to 5, kind of like the normality of the lifestyle of living, because that's the normal,
Right.
And I'm glad you guys aren't doing that. I'm glad you guys are having a great time doing so.
Yeah, we're super grateful.
Yeah, but planning to do so, to get away from that, breaking the mold, is a lot harder than most people think, right? So,
it's so scary.
Yeah, going from a house to a, say, whatever, 1,200 to 1,500 square feet to 500.
Yes. Right. And I make sure I tell everyone that comes to me and they're like, I want to do RV life. And I was like, well, just be prepared that I would say that week before our house sold, I definitely was nervous because I felt like maybe it was my idea. And I'm like, what if we do this and everyone hates it? But I was, they didn't. They all loved it. So,
but it's definitely stressful.
It definitely is stressful, and that comes with it. And I think it's normal. I mean, you're leaving everything, you're leaving your family, your friends, your home, your job, literally everything to just take on an adventure. And I think that definitely comes with like a little bit of, you just got to do it, like pull the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. Well, think about like Lewis and Clark coming across here, right? I always think about that. Or like any of the pilgrims or whoever came across it, like, they got to like Denver and they looked at the mountains like, yeah, we're just going to stay. But they had adventure the whole way. They had never knew what a grizzly bear was. Come across that, they get eaten alive. But you guys are just going out there kind of like this, kind of like them. They have no idea what's in front of them.
For sure.
But you're taking it day by day and you're absolutely loving it.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, David had never pulled an RV before. I had never even camped in an RV. So anyone can do it.
For sure.
Awesome. So let's get into specifics of preparation and planning for that, because it's a little different to downsize, right? So what steps did you take to prepare to go full time? And then how did you choose your first RV? And what advice would you give someone selecting their first RV?
Yeah. So when we downsized, we did not probably do it the way that everyone else does it. we're a little daring. You're going to find that David and I are very like go with the flow. Like we're just like here ready for it and it's going to happen. So most people, I feel like they sell their house. They have the camper in the driveway. They're like moving stuff in, right? Like the last couple weeks. Well, David and I decided that we didn't want to do that. So we didn't have a truck or a camper. We went, signed on our house, passed it over. We completely did not have a home. We had the car that we were driving in, and that was pretty much it, with a couple boxes in the back. We found the Heartland that we wanted off Facebook Marketplace because I knew I wanted a 4150. And we drove 2 hours, picked it up, found a truck on Marketplace, picked that up, picked up the camper, and we left.
Oh my gosh. So I know. Just wing it.
Yeah. We kind of like knew because we had kind of been in contact with the people we were going to buy the camper from. So we were like, look, our house is signing today. Like if everything goes through, we're going to be there. We're going to come pick it up. Yeah. And they were like, okay, well, it's sitting in the driveway. And so
I just got to go buy a truck first and then I'll come get something to pull it with.
So we grabbed the truck off Facebook Marketplace.
We were fortunate enough to find someone that had just put their truck up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. I think we were the first people to message them. We went immediately there, picked it up, and then headed to go pick up the RV, and then just started moving some things in from there. And then, of course, Kirsten wanted to renovate it at the time and thought we could get it done in like 7 days. And I'm like, it's going to take way longer than that.
We did renovate it, but we needed longer.
We didn't do as much as we needed to do, but it definitely takes a while to get a lot of stuff done. And we tried to cram it in. So I would definitely tell people to try and give yourself some time before you set out full time. Like maybe if you could get the RV in your driveway first, that would be helpful.
We were just really excited. We were ready to get in it. Like we had been like watching all these YouTube and full-time RVers, which like we're inspired by. And we were like, we just want to get in it and I want to hit the road. And we were just so ready, I think is like really what like lit
definitely
us.
Was what it was.
We probably should have sat a little longer and like, renovated and moved in. I wanted to come in and paint the whole inside of the RV white. But for 10 days, I didn't get to do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It does help with lighting and all that. Obviously, you guys know you've been in a bunch of RVs. It sounds like you've
because ours was 2016, so it was pretty dark when we first moved in. Like a lot of really dark browns, and we really wanted to just lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. The cyclones at that time were definitely that way, and they still sold. People had them, and they're a great
it was
RV.
still beautiful. It was still beautiful. Our rig was still beautiful when we bought it. I have to have color. So
yeah. Did you guys? So you said you put your house up for sale. Did you sell the house before you got the truck and the RV?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we wanted to pay cash for the truck and the RV. We were trying to become debt free.
We wanted like a whole debt free journey.
So we basically found the RV that we wanted. We were fortunate enough to be able to put down a small deposit on the RV for them to hold it. And then, but we still didn't have a truck until probably, I don't know.
The day before
The house sold. We found it that day before, went down there and saw it, told the guy, hey, I'll be back tomorrow with a cashier's check once everything hits the account. And that's kind of how we went with it. And it worked out. I mean, it just definitely was, I don't know, definitely stressful for sure.
It literally couldn't have worked out better, but I definitely think advice for anyone that wants to do it is like, be prepared for that. Cause I mean, those things are going to get thrown at you and you're going to be like, you either going to just roll with it or it's going to be where you're like, I can't do this. Yeah. Like, this isn't the life for me. But I mean, that's RV life as a whole.
Yeah. Well, yeah, people don't understand that, you put your house on wheels. It's not if, it's when something's going to work. Something's not going to work.
Right.
It's going to break.
Exactly.
It's going to happen. It is what it is. It goes down the road at hurricane force speeds, taking earthquakes the whole time. And there's a lot of things that are going to go wrong. It's going to happen. So that's pretty cool. So the interim time, I mean, the house sold pretty quickly too, right?
Oh, within like 2 weeks. Cause it was during like the big boom of like, the market selling. So it was so fast that it was almost a little scary.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you don't have a house anymore. Oh, you don't have a truck anymore. Okay. Where are you going?
I think we a couple days before the house was supposed to close, we sent the kids down to Charleston with my parents. Yeah. They watched them so that we could cause we knew we were probably going to be staying in a hotel or something, at least for a few days. And so once the house sold, we went down, got the truck. I think we stayed in a hotel 1 or 2 nights and then went and grabbed the RV. So it
was all in a matter of like 48 hours.
We were,
oh my goodness,
semi-homeless for a couple days.
Oh my gosh. So what'd you do with all your things in the time? Cause house.
Sold them.
Oh, you did. So
we're going to break that down. Everything that didn't have sentimental value.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much what I did was I just posted on Facebook, in Asheville, I was like, hey, we're moving. I'm not taking anything because we're moving in a camper. So people would just come in the house, almost like an estate sale and just I want it, and buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it happened pretty quick then. I mean, Cheese and Pete's. Yeah. So I'm guessing you had stuff listed out price wise, but you're like, I have a deadline to meet, whatever you're going to offer me.
Yeah. And then we donated a lot.
Yeah. There was definitely
at the end, just because we couldn't bring it. I mean,
there was definitely
things are just things, right?
Yeah.
It was at least a week prior where we were just taking things to
I had friends coming over. I was just take it, whatever you want, just take it. Cause I can't bring it.
Yeah. You guys definitely have a free willy soul then. Cause it's not easy for everybody to do that. I mean, I moved my life across the country from Nebraska to Idaho a year and a half ago. And I'm still working through stuff
so much work.
I lived in one house for 7 years and I was a single, just a bachelor guy. And I would come out here. I had a lot of stuff that I'm like, why do I have this? But I have to take it with me because I have to.
Yeah. Nope. We were like, we don't want it.
Yeah.
We don't want to see it ever again.
I don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like the stars really just kind of aligned for you guys. It was meant to be a little bit. Yeah, definitely. And so your preparation and planning was a little different and probably a little faster than most people would do so.
For sure.
But it's great because you pulled it off, right? You've been here for 3 years now and you're killing it. And, but now your daily life and routine obviously looks a little different than it used to. It sounds like you're contracting on the road still.
A little bit. We've been transitioning more to full-time social media marketing and things like that. But I've still been taking on a few jobs here and there.
Okay. So other than that, daily life and routine, what does your typical day look like while living in the RV? And then how do you manage everyday tasks like cooking, cleaning, laundry on the road, all these things? See, that's changed obviously from having it all in one spot. Now it's kind of a little different. So kind of walk us through that.
Yeah. I would say a normal day for us is we get up. We are night owls, so we do all tend to sleep in a little bit in the camper because we don't have a 9 to 5, so we don't have to get up and answer to anyone. So we do tend to sleep in. We have friends on the road that are like, oh, y'all sleep in. So we do sleep in, and then we get up, do homeschool, have coffee, kind of just go at our own pace, breakfast, just the same as a house, honestly, other than just homeschooling.
Yeah. Everything's just in a smaller space.
Yeah. And we cook exactly the same. I cook just like I did in the house.
Yeah. For the most.
The only thing that I would say is different is our laundry situation, which most people who have toy haulers have a washer and dryer on their rig. And we did as well when we first started. But I found that I never really used it. And I think the reason why is because we had like a bunch of like.
Oh, you still there? I lost you.
Oh,
weird.
Oh, so, okay. You're back now.
Okay.
Let's rewind like 5 to 10 seconds. You said
Yeah.
laundry. You don't do it no more. The reason being was blackout.
Just because, I feel like the laundry was like a smaller all-in-one. Is that how you'd word it?
Yeah. And it just didn't dry clothes.
And it would just take kind of a while. And so we were like, let's just get rid of it. Most of them in the toy hauler, if people don't know, most of the time the washer and dryer's in the toy hauler, right? Ours is not. Ours was in our master closet. So we just took it out, got more storage in our closet. And now I just use the laundromat at the RV parks because I just think it's easier. But I do know some people who like swear and have to have a washer and dryer on their RV.
I think it's just easier to go and do like 3 or 4 loads at a time, knock it out in like, a 2-hour period, as opposed to when we had it on the rig, it would take like 2 or 3 hours to do just one load.
Yeah. It's a little different animal. Well, a lot of people get stackables for that reason, because the combos, like even when I was selling, I'd like try to walk people away from it. Like it depends on what you're doing. If you're like a week trip here at a time,
right?
Like, it's no big deal to have a combo. Yeah, it's going to take half the day to do so, but like, what are you doing? You're sitting outside drinking coffee anyway.
Yeah,
it's not really a big deal. But if you're at, go ahead.
I'm gonna say a lot of the toy haulers too. Unfortunately, our toy hauler doesn't have hookups in the back, so we didn't have room for the stackables.
Yeah, so our closet doesn't have the stackable height.
They put our washer and dryer in the nose of the rig in the closet, so it's really only tall enough for a all-in-one.
Yeah, so the laundromat's the best way for you. A lot of people get the heebie-jeebies. Yeah. I was talking to somebody yesterday, like, no, and I understand that. I totally get that. I was talking about like my college, first year dorm. You had to share it's just like a laundromat within the dorm, right? I'd end up with people's clothes that weren't mine.
That happens still.
It's a quarter, guys. It's a quarter.
Yeah. So I would say that's the only thing that's really different for us. Everything else I feel like is pretty much the same.
Yeah. I mean, dinner, all that's still the same.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just a smaller space. So you just got to have to share your space a little bit. So you can't have 2 people in the kitchen at one time because it just won't fit.
Speaking of which, I apologize. I didn't ask how many are traveling?
So we have 2 kids and then us. So we have a 14-year-old and a 7-year-old, and then it's us. And then we also have 2 dogs. So we do have the toy. So we have the toy hauler. David and I have our bedroom back here. I don't know if you knew that, but we renovated our toy hauler. That's our bedroom. Zeke has the loft in the living room, and then Kinley has the master bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's bass awkward.
I know no one does it. Everyone's like, we always give our kids the toy hauler, but
we wanted the balcony.
I want the balcony. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I like that idea. That's a good way to go about it. Now, I would have toys in the toy hauler, so I couldn't do that.
Yeah. We get that.
But I'm a 2-wheel guy, so it's how it is. But so it sounds like you didn't really have a daily life and routine difference besides the fact that you're living in a home on wheels, right? But with that comes challenges, right? So challenges as in, these things are a little different now. I got to go grocery shopping separate. We only have one vehicle, so it's a little different that way. But what are some big challenges you faced while becoming a full-time RVer, and how did you overcome those? And then how do you handle maintenance on the road? Because that's a huge thing. These things go down the road, hurricane force speeds, earthquakes every time, thing breaks. It's not if, it's when. So walk us through all that. And I guess we'll talk about that a little more.
Yeah. So challenges, I'm trying to think of what kind of challenges we've had on the road.
Our challenge on the road is parking our RV in California RV parks.
Yeah.
That's probably our biggest. It's like, we don't fit in California. That's what I tell everyone.
Yeah. A lot of the parks are smaller, but we haven't really faced too many crazy challenges that I can think of. None that we really had to like try to overcome.
I feel like we've been really lucky because we have met obviously people on the road that have faced a lot, or like a lot of things go wrong with the campers, and we've just have been so lucky.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a few things break here and there. We've had a couple leaf spring hangers break, and
on the road, which leads you to the tech that you have to have.
We're fortunate enough that, in those instances, I was able to find a mobile welder to come out and help us. Outside of that, we've had a couple mobile techs come out and fix some things here and there, or I've troubleshooted them and fixed them myself.
Yeah. Good old
That's
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube mechanic, right? YouTube mechanic.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. As much as I can.
Yeah. Well, speaking of challenges and solutions, let's do a little bit of plug about what you're talking about here for your. Where'd it go? Oh, I made it. Here you go. Let's talk about this a little bit. So, hurricane relief right now, Asheville community. You guys are from Asheville. Well,
we are
kind of a freak happening. I had no idea that you guys were. So, this is going to help those people. So, their challenges, are they losing their homes? They don't have home on wheels. They can't just bail out of there. So, a little bit of help, a little solution. Donate what you can, because I couldn't imagine being through something like that with, a foot of water through your space and like no roof.
Absolutely.
So if you guys want to talk any more about that, by all means, we can plug it in there a couple
times. It's pretty rough what's happening in Western North Carolina. We lived there for about 7 years, and we have seen some small minor flooding, but nothing like this. This was historical flooding, like more than they've seen in hundreds of years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that lost their entire homes, a lot of communities that lost basically the entire main street is gone.
Yeah, we've had friends that have lost their homes. So our heart just really goes out to Asheville. We love Western North Carolina. So we just wanted to mention it. And if anyone wanted to donate and help out our community, we would be so grateful. Because like I said, we have so much love for Asheville and Western North Carolina.
Yeah. And all these donations go to the United Way of Buncombe County and Asheville.
Directly.
And so they directly hand out resources to the community. They've got boots on the ground and they've been there pretty much since it all started.
Absolutely.
So any little bit will help for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a place where I would never want to be with my family or like that for going through something like that. It'd be really tough. So
yeah, for sure.
Donate if you can. That'd be wonderful. So
yes, we appreciate it.
Hearts go out to Asheville. That's brutal. So challenges and solutions. Well, I think we covered most of that. Now let's go into financial aspects. So you're a contractor on the road, and you're also kind of you're doing the social media thing. You guys have been killing it. You're really showing the raw, realistic life of it. I love it. And so, like I told you, seeing Emperor's New Groove, and I was like,
yeah, you had Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, and then I saw Tom and Jerry once, I think, on there too. I was like, yeah,
Probably.
Yeah, these are my people. But anyway, so how do you sustain your lifestyle financially? Because it's a little different living on the road. There's a lot of payments that are, not like when you get on the road, you're paying for stays, you're paying for this, paying for that, and the other, paying for gas. But are there any specific tips you could offer someone to earn an income on the road? And then what budgeting advice would you give someone considering full-time RVing?
Yeah.
For earning an income on the road, I mean, there's definitely a lot of different avenues you can go down to make money nowadays.
Yeah.
You can even be a work camper. I mean,
that's always what we recommend is work camping is where it's at, you guys, free site and paid to be there. I think it's such a great thing. You get to stay places that are beautiful.
Yeah.
And work.
If you don't have a remote job, that's definitely the first way you can get your foot in the door is you can find a lot of these campsites that need people for 6 to 8 months to work camp. And most of the time they're just working 20 hours a week, or maybe they'll have you working 40 hours a week, but either way they're paying you, usually get a site and water and everything included. So that's definitely a way that people can get in. And then there's also, remote work. There's a lot of websites out there.
Yeah, we always recommend flex jobs. We've had a lot of friends that have had luck over there. It's nothing but remote positions that people can apply to work on the road. That's always a good one. And then, of course, we always encourage content creation. We think it's a great way to make money on the road as well.
Yeah. And then as far as budgeting goes, we always suggest people to get a membership resort.
Yes.
So definitely go with Thousand Trails, or we have Coast to Coast,
which no one knows about,
and Thousand Trails. And Coast to Coast is the Good Sam equivalent of Thousand Trails.
It's literally the same thing, just another membership that we can use. So we can bounce between the two, between Thousand Trails and Coast to Coast. So if you're going to full time, you have to have a camping membership. I mean, that's always our definitely biggest recommendation. And then we always encourage, if it's possible and you do have a home to sell, obviously buying your truck and camper outright helps save money on the road as well. But we know that not everyone, is capable of that, and that's understandable. But if you can, it does really, really help, of course, to be debt free with your camper and your truck to pull it.
Yeah, I can imagine so. I mean, it's a camper for one, and then a truck to pull that,
right.
Especially when you guys have a 1-ton pickup's no joke.
And we have a dually 3,500.
And then a 44-foot fifth wheel toy hauler specifically. I mean, that's out of pocket. You're looking. A lot of people can be pushing $300,000 real quick. I mean, that's a house.
Yeah.
And the interest rate's probably not near as great. Plus, it's a lot shorter term.
Right. Exactly.
Obviously, the payment's going to be higher. So Yeah, crazy. So Coast to Coast is very similar to Thousand Trails. You have both of those.
We do.
I know there's a lot. I need to start talking to I want to get those guys on here because I'd love to talk to them about that.
Thousand Trails will definitely hop on. They're super awesome.
Yeah. So, but I've never heard of Coast to Coast, but it's very similar. It sounds like.
It is. I feel like no one's really heard of it. We like push it on everyone. We're like, you got to get Coast to Coast too, because no one knows about it. I would say that it's mostly more out west.
Yeah, there's some on the East Coast, some on the West Coast, some kind of in between.
But it's exactly the same as Thousand Trails. You buy into the membership. Once you buy into it, you own it and you can stay.
The only difference that I would think between that and Thousand Trails is Thousand Trails owns all of their parks, where in Coast to Coast, most of them are privately owned parks. Some of them might be membership resorts. So they might have 4 or 5 RV parks underneath them. And then you buy into one of those memberships, you get access to their parks plus all the other parks
throughout the country. Yeah.
And so that's kind of the difference, I guess, is that they're not owned by one entity. They're owned privately. So some of them tend to be really nice and maintained really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to look into that because I haven't heard of that. I mean, I'll be sure to hip camp and then other places like that, Harvest Hosts.
Yep.
That's another one, but Coast to Coast, I'll have to write it down and check it out.
Coast to Coast. It's just like Thousand Trails. It's just a camping membership.
So 3 years, right? Been doing this for 3 years now. Community and connection. We're going to dive into that a little bit, but like you're still talking to people from back home. You still got that, but how do you stay connected with friends and family? Obviously we have technology, which is absolutely wonderful. But while traveling, just talk about like holiday events, because people on the road, your family's on the north, in North Carolina, but you're in Oregon. You ain't going to go back for everything, right? So let's talk about that. And then also, have you found a sense of community within the RVing community? So, because I've only been in it for a couple months now with this whole thing, and I'm getting tossed around. People are talking to me like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, you have so many friends, right? The RV full-time community is huge.
Huge.
And I think that's what I try to tell everyone when they're like, "Well, what do you do about friends on the road?" Or like, "What do you like?" There's so many, y'all. The full-time RV families and just full-time RV community is massive. And that's another thing that I recommend with people starting RVing is if you're on Facebook. They have so many Facebook groups for starting RVing. That's like RV community, full homeschool RV. So yeah, we have tons of friends on the road. For our family, they'll just fly out wherever we are and spend the holidays with us. Because who wouldn't want to spend the holidays somewhere cool?
Yeah, for sure.
Tell them to come to you then.
Yeah, so they'll just come to us. Yeah. So that's mostly what they do is our family will just fly to wherever we are for the holidays. And then for friends on the road, we caravan with families all the time. We're actually caravanning with a family right now.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it somebody that I know?
They're full-time. They're in the full-time families. Stay in your Lanier.
That would be their username on it. But yeah,
talk to them about me and we'll get together.
Yeah, they're awesome too. But yeah, we caravan with them. There's tons of full-time families that we caravan with all the time. I would say that we're with people more than we're not with people.
Yeah, for sure. Our kids probably have more friends now
than they ever did. Yeah.
They had friends in school, but they weren't always ones that they wanted to hang out with. You're forced into a classroom with like 20 kids. You don't always like all of them. They've been on the road for so long. They learn and meet all these different types of people, and they've found all these lifelong friends on the road.
It's awesome. Our daughter, Kinley, she's 14 and she has friends that she's met that full time, and they'll be like in another state and they'll be like, well, hey, is there any way you could just fly here and hang out? She'll fly and go hang out and come back. So they just so they're just, living their best life and have a bunch of homeschool friends on the road. And the community is huge. I think that that's a really big common misconception in the RV community is that you won't have friends on the road. And that is so far from the truth. You have so many connections, and the RV community is amazing. Everyone is super welcoming.
It's a lot of like-minded people.
Well, it makes sense being a nomad like that. I mean, it's like, you almost have to have, compared to the normalcy of life, screws loose, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's a little different. And then because it's, there's a comfort in normalcy, I guess, right? You just kind of fit into the crowd. But like this with with your kids, this is something that I would have really appreciated, because when I was young, I wanted to go everywhere and see everything and do everything. Yeah. Obviously, my family didn't choose to do so, but I did get to travel. It wasn't like I didn't. But as a kid, I feel like that nomadic lifestyle for your children and children alike are probably going to stay with something like that, because then once they settle down, they were like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't understand
We say that all the time. We say that all the time. We're like,
life's going to be boring for them if they're not constantly moving and seeing.
Yeah, and they're going to be so much more well-rounded and much more cultured than like most people that never got that chance. And because they're meeting people from all different walks of life. Yeah, they're in the similar mindset, but they could be from, Washington, and y'all are from North Carolina. That's two totally different people. I'm from the Midwest. I came out to Idaho. I'm like, y'all ain't near as funny as we are, you just aren't, because we didn't have anything. We didn't have mountains and stuff to go to. We had things to drink and things to laugh at. So that was basically, it's going to be really cool to see what, y'all's kids grew up to be because of how well-rounded and cultured they're going to be from what you guys decided to give them in their life. So that's really cool. And
we always say Zeke's really going to grow up and be like a national park ranger.
Yeah, probably. And that's okay. I actually met the word camping thing. I had a family. I don't think I sold them in Lincoln, but they traded in Lincoln, and they're like a word camp family at Yellowstone. He's like, we've been doing this for 30 years. I'm like,
oh, cool.
30 years, 9 months of the year, just chilling in a camper. He's like, yeah, it's like, at the beginning of the year, our pipes will freeze. And I'm like, you can bounce around a little bit. He's like, yeah, but I love Yellowstone. It was a cool experience. But speaking of experiences, you guys, 3 years on the road, you've been in 42 states now. You're not too far from getting them all, as being at them all. Let's talk about some of your most memorable and favorite destinations. So most memorable experiences, favorite destinations, and what are some unexpected benefits you've come to know while full-time RVing?
Yeah. Our favorite place is where?
Where's your favorite place? I don't know.
I feel like our favorite place that we've brought the RV is definitely Banff.
Oh, well, to visit there. I'm talking about in the United States.
Oh, in the United States.
I was going to say, that's straight north 15 hours.
Yeah, so the best place we ever took the RV is definitely Banff. And I think my favorite place that we've been to is probably Zion.
Yeah, and mine's Grand Tetons.
And David loves Grand Tetons, which I do too. It's really hard to pick a favorite, but I'd probably pick Zion.
And then our son loves like Dauphin Island, Alabama.
Yeah.
So they're all over the place. I think our daughter likes
Kinley picks the redwoods, I think, when we ask her. So it's really hard to pick a favorite. There's just so many beautiful national parks. It's so tough.
Yeah. Yeah. But what about specific memories? If you think you guys are all sitting around a fire, something like that, obviously you do that probably quite a bit. Valley. Is there anything specific like that? You guys, Squaw Valley?
We have a lot of really good memories in Swan Valley. Whenever we went this past year, we've been to Swan Valley. This is our third year that we went.
Yeah. And that's in Idaho.
In Idaho. I don't know if you guys know Bryce and Nellie, the Jergies. They have an RV park there. In Swan Valley, and that's where we stay. And so they actually did a summer camp this year, and we had the best time with friends. We met a bunch of different RV families that met us up there, or friends we've met on the road. Mm-hmm. And we had bonfires every night, tons of incredible memories this past summer.
Capped it off with a concert by the National
Parks Band. It was so awesome.
Yeah. Good.
Really?
So yes.
Yeah.
It was such a good time. They put on a really awesome event. It's a beautiful RV park if you're in Idaho.
Yeah. Well, I have not been to the eastern side much. I got up to Mackay area, which is basically straight north of Arco. I never got east of there, Idaho Falls, and I'm guessing that's where Swan Valley is in that area.
Yeah, you have to.
Little east of Idaho Falls.
Okay, so it's right there basically on the border.
Yeah, it's almost the Alpine.
Yeah, you're really closer to more Wyoming.
Yeah, you're like 30 minutes into Wyoming,
Tetons are right there too.
Yeah.
You're right in the area.
Yeah, I think it's an hour to the Tetons or something.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, no wonder it's gorgeous over there.
Yeah.
You have to get there. You have to.
Yeah. Now, if you guys go back in the eastern Idaho, there's actually, have you ever heard of Lava Hot Springs?
I've heard
We've
of it.
heard of it, but we haven't been.
Super cool little town. I actually bought a van in May back in Nebraska, and I flew back for a wedding, and I drove the van back. It's a 2000 Chevy Astro.
I love that. I love that. We want that.
It's a little tight. It's a little tight. I'm a taller guy, but little spaces again, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
But anyway, stopped in Lava Hot Springs, and I was kind of blown away. It reminded me of kind of Eureka down there in like Arkansas kind of deal. Mm-hmm. Gorgeous, super green, and then it was just a pop-in little town in the middle of nowhere. I mean, just kind of come through this mountain pass, and all of a sudden there's Lava Hot Springs, and it was just vibing little town. What? So yeah, you got to get there.
Yeah, I feel like we've been around a lot of places in Idaho. Maybe
not there.
Yeah, there's. I mean, it's kind of a hidden gem, and I hope it stays that way for a little bit longer.
Yeah, sure. We'll have to add that one to our list because we will definitely be back to Idaho because we love it.
Secret's getting out. It
is.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys wung it a little bit, and probably a little different than most people would have. I actually talked to Vanessa. I can't remember her last name, but the Adventure Detour. I'm sure you've heard of them. Yeah, she. They did the same thing, kind of like you guys did, kind of like just pull the blocks and like hopped into an RV real quick.
We're not the only crazy ones.
Yeah, I was like, y'all are crazy. I can't imagine just doing that. I'm happy for you, but. Let's talk about let's look at it like this. So advice for beginners. Let's say you're looking back and talking to yourself 3 years ago, like, hey man, here's some tips that you need to know before you actually jump into this. What would some of that be? Or someone that's on the fence, what would that be?
Definitely get the RV first, so you can have it in your driveway.
Yeah, definitely give yourself some time to move in and adjust.
That way you can move in while you're in the house and you're not stressed.
Yeah, definitely our biggest one was that. And also renovations. Like if you do want to go and buy like an RV and you decide you want to put like your own spin on it, like you need to give yourself, I would say like a month, maybe longer.
Yeah.
Ours was like 10 days and that wasn't it. Yeah. It made the beginning process just a little bit more stressful than it should have been just because we were like, we got to get this done. We got to paint these cabinets. So buy the RV, park it in the driveway, move in slowly. And then if you want to renovate it, just enjoy it and just enjoy the process and take your time. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah. And then once you get on the road and you're started, keep your travels to
that too.
200 miles or less.
Yeah. Anything more, it starts to get
stressful. It's hard on the RV
too. It makes it not enjoyable.
I feel like it's hard on everything when you're pulling like 300 or 400 miles at a time. It's just more enjoyable when you can take it slow and see the little spots as you go along. You don't need to rush from one place to another.
Yeah. And also hang out places longer too. I feel like that was a big one when we started. When we first started, we would like stay 4 nights and then book it and then stay 4 nights and hang out. And now we're like, we want to do like a month. Yeah. We're like, we need a whole month here. There's a lot to see. Like I need to relax. I need to chill. So I think that too is like recommend like just hang out places for a while, take it all in, go to the local coffee shop, just enjoy the area. Don't rush through it. It's not going anywhere.
That's right.
Yeah. I talked to Exploring Outside of 303, Kaylee. I can't remember her last name, but I spoke with her and she said that her first, I believe 5 months to a year was 2 nights.
Oh my God.
2 nights a pop. And she had it all planned out for a year. And she's like, I can't keep this up. Like, oh, no kidding. You're packing up your house every other night.
Yeah. and that's another thing too, is like, I feel like when we first started out, we were like booked. Like we knew where we had to be. And now we'll go somewhere the day before. We're just so good with the flow now. But in the beginning, we were like, we have to go to the next spot because we're booked there. And
I just think we found that being so structured,
be a little more go with the flow.
Well, it caused us to like have to leave places we didn't really want to leave yet. Like we were still exploring certain areas, but we're like, we have to go because we're already booked here. Where now we can kind of like, oh, well, we'll extend like maybe 3 or 4 more days.
Yeah, but we're like, we really like it. We should just stay longer. So that's what we do. And we just kind of, a lot of people think we're crazy in the RV community, especially like in the winter in Florida. We wintered in Florida this year and people were like, you guys aren't booked. And we're like, nah, we'll just see if they have cancellations and just jump in if they have them. They're like, y'all are wild.
That's the nomadic lifestyle. You guys probably better than most, which is okay.
Yeah, we're like, we'll park in a Walmart parking lot if we have to. We'll figure it out.
We never had to do that though. We never did. We found a spot to stay every time. It worked just fine.
Yeah. So go with the flow. Be a little bit
staying aligned.
Yeah, just be a little go with the flow.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. I'm happy for you. It's been a pleasure talking to you so far. I want to do it, and they're talking about maybe putting me out on the road. So maybe I'll cross paths with you.
Yeah,
for sure.
We would love that.
If you ever cross through Boise, again,
we will.
Please stop by. We'll bring you in here. Actually have you on the pod.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah, we would definitely do that.
So that'd be great. I'd love it too. So future plans, where are you heading to next? What are your future plans and goals in the RV journey? And sounds like you might do this for a long time, but how long do you see this happening, or how do you see it evolving in the next few years?
Yeah, we're going to go down to SoCal this winter and just do Southern California, Sedona, Arizona. That's like another place we really love to spend the winter. So we're going to hang out there. And then we're really hoping that this summer that we get to go do Alaska. That's our hope. That's what we really want to do. And our goal is to maybe like have a smaller rig to take to Alaska. We don't know if we really want to pull a 45-foot. We're pretty daring, but we don't know if we're that daring. So we would love to maybe like even get a smaller size and like take it up there for the summer. We're not going to get rid of our rig or anything, but have something maybe smaller.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like our goal. And then also our goal is to travel abroad as well.
Yeah. We want to get to some other countries we want to see all the states first. And then once we see all the states, definitely want to keep this journey going.
Yeah. Our travel is not leaving anytime soon. That's for sure.
Our kids get bored too quick anymore. They're ready to see stuff. Our daughter's like, let's go to Japan. I'm
like, okay.
Let's figure this out. Calm down. You guys have worn off on it too much already. So 42 states. What states are left,
So I think that we have, it's like the middle, right? Like the tornado area. So it's like
it's Nebraska.
Yeah, there's some good spots.
I think
talk to me.
Yeah.
I think it's like Nebraska, Oklahoma,
yeah,
maybe like Iowa,
Arkansas, Missouri.
I think that's
Iowa,
and that's it.
Well, then Alaska.
And we've done Hawaii, of course, not in the RV, but
we didn't check Hawaii off yet because
we didn't technically go while we've been living in the RV. So does it count? We don't know.
Well, you can rent a van there and you can park on the beach, basically.
That's it.
That's a goal for me. One of these
me
times.
Too.
It's like when my next big trip, I'm like, I'm going to go there for 2 weeks, camp out in a van, and I'm going to learn to surf. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. Don't talk to me. I'm going to check out.
Definitely do that.
Yes. Hawaii's amazing.
Spearfishing and all that. Yeah, I would
love
to do that. But Nebraska, Iowa, all those states in the middle, Kansas, you can skip Kansas. There ain't nothing there.
No, we have to go.
Kansas is, but there's a lot of other cool stuff. And if you have any questions, by all means, please reach out to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so 3 years, right? Gadgets, gizmos, add-ons. What are your favorite ones that you've done? What are add-ons you've done? Maybe just additions or flipping renovations in your RV. Some gadgets that are cool, some gizmos that you really like that you would not be able to RV without. What are some of those things?
I think one of the big things we did, which is a little unconventional, is we took our oven out.
Oh, yeah.
And put in a Ninja Foodie, which is like the 10-in-1, like air fryer, oven.
You can cook exactly the same.
What is this thing?
It's huge. You can cook 2 frozen pizzas in it. That's how big it is.
And it'll fit a turkey.
Ninja?
Yeah, you can cook a whole Thanksgiving turkey in it.
And people
are always shocked because we don't run propane.
Yeah, for the most part, we don't run propane in our rig. We just didn't feel comfortable with it on the rig, so we use the electric hot water heater. We use the electric stove, and the
oven, the Ninja oven.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Sort of through the mountains. That's
it though. That's definitely it. Through the mountain.
Yeah, sorry, I love my background.
Through the AI background.
That's what we put in though, and it literally works just like an oven. It actually even has an air fryer on it.
That's wonderful. So I'm guessing when you took out the oven, did you build up a little cabinet or some sort to?
So luckily, our cabinet already had a bottom in it, so it
just came out and we just put it back.
And then our countertop already had like a piece that would be separate that you could set over top of it to cover up the existing oven. So we just set that on there, and now we have counter space. And
I use like a cooktop, like a hot plate,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's probably one of our biggest. Yeah, that's probably one of our biggest upgrades that people are always kind of shocked about.
Yeah. Outside of that, we haven't really found too many. I mean, we use a macerator pump now. Camco has a Rhino
Which people
macerator.
are always shocked by that too.
We've been using that just to save space in our storage. I don't have to carry around, because we have 2 black tanks, so I'd have to carry around enough hose to be able to dump both of them, and then enough to extend it if I needed to, because some of these RV parks put their sewer, 15 feet behind the RV for some reason.
They don't actually RV.
So it just allowed us to get rid of like a pretty large tote. So now we just have like a water hose and the macerator pump, and it connects to the battery, and it's been great. We've had it for about 8 months now.
Yeah. And then of course we've done tons of renovations inside the camper that y'all have seen.
Yeah, we swapped out the couch, put in a couch that
Painted the
had some
cabinets.
storage in it, painted the cabinets. That was about
Super
it.
homey in there. Super homey.
And you built the table.
Yeah, I built like a breakfast nook.
Whenever I'm sure you know how the Cyclones are. They normally have like the 3 couches, and the one is normally in the slide. We just took that out, and then David built like almost like a breakfast nook with like bar stools, so the kids could like do school, or we could sit down and like eat dinner, which is nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, the macerator pump, I've heard. I didn't know that it actually goes from the tank to a garden hose. I didn't know that. I know what it does. We don't need to say it out loud. It chops it all up. Yeah. But guys, this has been a wonderful conversation, and I'm really glad you took your time out of your day. So I really do appreciate it. But last question I have for you, and it sounds like I've heard a lot of it, but I want to know like the exact answer. What's your why? Why do you do it? Because, I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons you have your kids. You're showing them a lot of things. You guys had the idea of like, why not? Right. I mean, there's always the why not. But like, why do you keep doing it? Why are you doing it? And why do you want to extend it?
Yeah. I think our why is just like being together. Like, I mean, we make the comment all the time that our son, who's 7, like after COVID, he doesn't know a life without both of us home, like, which is so crazy, right? To like have 2 parents at home all the time. He wouldn't even know what it would be like if one of us went to work. So our why is definitely just being together.
Spending more time together.
Yeah. It's just, you don't get many summers with your kids, and we're just so grateful. And also we love living like a minimalist lifestyle. We just don't need a whole lot to be happy. And this is our happy. This is our why, is just being on the road, experiencing everything, and just being together.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
That's awesome. So I talked to Heels on Wheels recently.
Yeah.
And I haven't released that one. It was one of my favorite conversations I've had. And because they had a lot of insight. I mean, they said it was really cute, actually. Shane said, he said, my why is to watch her experience it all.
Oh,
it was sweet. She started crying. I was like, don't make me cry. I'm not supposed to cry on camera.
But that's so true, though. It's like being able to see it like through together, and like see it through our kids' eyes and stuff. It's just moments where like we were coming over to an Astoria this the other day, and I was just videoing Zeke like in the rearview mirror of him just like in the back seat with like the wind blowing, and it's just like even like those little moments you're just like on the road and like you just feel so free, and we're just so grateful for our lifestyle for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
First time you see the Tetons, you just get
emotional. It's just emotional. You're just like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And there's some people who never get to see this, and we're like, you have to go. You have to.
Yeah.
So our why is
just go.
Yeah, just go. Just do it.
Yeah, but being together, I mean, that's a huge. You're darn right. And you know what I like to say, that bucket list of yours keeps getting longer, but your life keeps getting shorter.
Yes.
So you better start going, because otherwise it's going to be gone. Like I'm only 31, but like I've already noticed that like life's disappearing. It's not getting any longer.
I feel like every year it goes faster and faster.
And we always say too, is like, don't wait for retirement, because then you're going to be older and you're not going to be able to do these things. You're not going to be able to go out and do these like incredible hikes or like hook up the toy hauler. It's just a lot. So it's like, why not now? Like, don't wait till you're older. Don't wait till retirement. Go do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are salesmen. I love it. Selling the lifestyle. Come on.
That's it. Everyone should do it.
We're here for anyone who has questions. We're here to encourage it. Actually, our friends that we're caravanning with right now, we encourage them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, really? So they started, when did they start then?
Right out, like maybe like 6 months after us. They're like, are y'all crazy? We're like, yes, but you should still do it.
Yeah. Are they from the same area?
Yes.
They're from, they're from our hometown. Well, they're from Charleston, not from Asheville.
Okay. Yeah. Are they real close, Charleston, Asheville?
4 hours. 4 hours.
No, okay.
So one's on the coast, one's in the mountains. We just grew up in Charleston. We grew up with these people, and they wanted to know what the life was like, and we started to tell them about it, and they were sold. So like, do it.
And they're so grateful they did it. They love it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're showing them the way, and it's been fun watching you guys. It's been fun talking to you guys. And if you have anything else you want to share.
No, just get out there and travel and experience life and live life to the fullest, because we don't have very long.
Yeah. If you want to do this life, then just do it. There's definitely ways to do it. Don't let something hold you back.
Never.
You gosh darn right.
That's great.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you again for so much. Again, guys, if you haven't heard about this hurricane relief thing, these two are from Asheville community, and they're going through some rough times right now. So if you can donate, please do so. And then follow these guys. These guys are absolutely wonderful. Up there in the top, all their links. I got the Instagram. I got the TikTok. And you guys haven't heard about BishFix in this episode. I forgot to bring it up, but we'll talk about that a little bit after here. And anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining today. Listen to what they have to say, everybody. Follow them, Heart and Saul, on everything: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. They have their own website as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes. We did.
Follow that.
I think it's down right now, but it'll be back.
We'll work on
soon.
Okay. So you're not the only ones to say that. It's there, but everyone else follows social pages. But again, guys, thank you so much. If you haven't heard from me before, follow us on the RV Voice. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear whatever you want us to talk about. We'll find them, we'll talk to them, and we'll get them on here. So thank you so much, guys. Kirsten and David, thank you so much for joining, and thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more from the RV Voice.